What's up, y'all? Sparta here. So the OnePlus Open was just announced, and you guys know I'm not really into folding phones. It's not my thing at all. I think a lot more impressive things are happening with regular slab phones in terms of like the things that I care about. But this one is pretty damn interesting. And sorry for the amount of cars that are going by. Rush hour is just ending. So this is just something that's gonna have to be dealt with. But in terms of the OnePlus Open, I'm not gonna talk, like, obviously you got the base specs. Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of internal storage. It's $1,700. Which undercuts phones like the Pixel Fold and the Galaxy, the Fold 5 by like $100, which is very nice. I think is actually a very nice price. Is what you pretty much can expect for foldables. I don't know what these people think, what their expectations are to have a phone with two screens, one of which is engineered to fold open, and have it be $1,400. Have it be the same price. Let me put this in perspective, right? Have it be the same price as an Xperia 1 Mark V. When there's a lot of engineering, a lot of R&D that goes into making sure that the hinge mechanism and the screens and all these other things work in a way that doesn't, completely fall apart right away, right? But anyway, the main things I want to talk about is the couple of things that made me kind of write off foldable phones overall. One has to be like fast charging. Over the years, like especially the last couple years, Chinese manufacturers in particular, because they seem to be the ones that want to push fast charging forward, have made folding phones actually charge faster than 45 watts. So to me, that's very nice. And the OnePlus Open charges at 67 watts. It's not 90, but honestly, seeing the fact that it's a phone that splits in two, quite literally. Well, not splits in two, but has two different working pieces, and they tend to split the battery on one side of the phone and the other side of the phone. Having like 90 watt charging, to me, is definitely going to cook the phone. So that's something that I am totally fine with, being like, okay, 67 watt, that's cool. No wireless charging, which people are pissing and moaning about. Hey, people that piss and moan about wireless charging, why? like for real, why? Wireless charging is the worst way to charge a damn phone. It is. It cooks your battery faster over time. And even if it's a faster wireless charger, it's not as efficient. So why would you want that? That just doesn't really make any sort of sense to me personally. But now to go to the other thing. The cameras. The main camera on this phone, OnePlus is saying, they said anyway, it's called the LiTOR sensor or something. It's a new sensor by Sony, LiTOR 808. And what this is basically doing is just stacking pixels on top of each other to give you the same, pretty much equivalent light sensitivity and overall light intake of the IMX989, the 1-inch type sensor that you'll find in, say, the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, Oppo Find X6 Pro, Xiaomi 13 Pro, the Vivo X90 Pro and Pro Plus, the Xiaomi 12S Ultra, you know, the big boy. And it was kind of weird how they tried to stage it as if it's equivalent overall to the 989, when, yeah, in light sensitivity purposes, it definitely will be on par. And it definitely could be on par. But in terms of things like other photographic qualities like depth of field and, you know, the pleasing things, it's not going to match the 989s, mainly because of the fact that it's still a smaller sensor. So it's a 1/1.4 something. I forgot. I don't think it's 1/1.4. I'm gonna have to double check, but I think it's 1/4. I don't remember. It's a lot. It's definitely the largest sensor that you could get in a foldable phone. But for them to sit there and be like, "Oh, it's equivalent to the 989," I don't think that's going to be the case for basically all around. But they showed stills. Now you can sit here and say that, oh, these are stills that they take and they're probably, you know, they're definitely controlled in some sort of way, because obviously if you're going to take the same photo with 3 different phones, you're gonna have to have some sort of control. But they took low light photos with obviously the OnePlus Open, the iPhone 15 Pro Max. What's weird is they just said Pro Max, and with the other phone they said Ultra, and I assume that just means the S23 Ultra, because what they said, by also not saying it, is that, oh, the most popular phones out there, the best-selling phones out there, which are what? iPhones and Samsungs. And obviously they wouldn't be talking about a Xiaomi 13 Ultra when that phone has a 989 in it. So it's like, that wouldn't necessarily make any sort of sense. I just wish they were a little bit more transparent when it came to that. Obviously, it has Hasselblad. It's co-engineered with Hasselblad, so that's actually very nice. You get the Hasselblad color science, which obviously gives you more natural tones and all this other stuff. And I do like the Hasselblad look. The OnePlus 9 actually sold me on that back when I, had that phone. And I've honestly been missing it ever since. So it's kind of, it's definitely a good thing to see that they're still doing this partnership. It's also good to see that we're getting these partnerships more and more now, because to me personally, I like this stuff. I like seeing camera companies, instead of being snooty and pretentious, be like, oh, phone cameras just can never match the look of an actual camera. Like I like to see these kind of things, because it puts that bullshit to rest a little bit. Because honestly, it's just getting tired at this point to still hear the same things when you have these same people take photos in ways that they wouldn't take photos with a regular camera. And then they still sit there and say, oh, it just doesn't match a regular camera. Yeah, because you're using, instead of trying to make sure that you trigger the natural depth of field of the phone's sensor, what are you doing? You're turning on the fucking portrait where you don't have to do that on a regular camera. You don't have to talk about, the software stitching between the main subject and the background on a dedicated camera, because that's just not a thing. So you're not really giving the phone a fair shot at all. And that's why, especially with a lot of camera, like, the milk toast camera reviewers, I stopped watching them too. They've gotten to the point with me with regular phone tech reviewers where they just spout the same shit every year. The same 2 phones, the same 3 phones are the best phones that you can get for photography. And what they always say about the iPhone, the iPhone's the best because, I got a MacBook and I got Macs all around, right? I got all these Apple products and it has AirDrop. So it's like, it's not a value add to me. For a good amount of the fucking smartphone market, that's not a value add. So stop saying that as if it is. But anyway, I am very much excited to see what this sensor can do. And it has a 64 megapixel 10x, I think it's a 10x telephoto lens. I'm very interested to see what that does too. And then obviously they touted the Hasselblad portrait mode, which, takes data from 2 different cameras, which I'm assuming is the main camera and the telephoto, and putting it together to give you a nice looking image. And to me, I much prefer that over, say, software stitching. I don't really like how that works a lot of the time. And it would be nice to see more, especially as phones get more powerful, as powerful as phones are, it would be nice to see that be done more. Other things are like the multitasking that they're doing, which is very interesting. How the overall user interface works to make sure that it prioritizes things like multitasking is also cool. But you could look at other videos for that. Like you could look at TK Bay or Juan Bagnell. They put out videos today too about it. And it's very interesting how these work. It's also interesting that for a foldable phone, they're making the foldable phone take more advantage of the 8 Gen 2 than the OnePlus 11. And it also has things like USB 3 display out support and all the other stuff too that the OnePlus 11 just didn't have. So this is going to be very interesting to see. Am I excited? A little bit. I don't necessarily know if I want to get one, because you guys know I'm kind of in another high-end phone crisis, where I want another high-end phone to compare to my 13 Ultra, like a newer high-end phone. And I think rather than getting yet another slab phone, I kind of want to go foldable. And I think the OnePlus Open just may be that for me for the first time. So we'll see. Overall, let me know in the comment section below what you feel about the OnePlus Open overall. This is Sparta. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday, whatever time of day it is in your area. Have a good one.